Hey guys, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cut Shield, for bringing you this episode. Make sure you check them out on the link below and use the promo code for 25% off your order. Used by all 32 NHL teams and players, Cut Shield is the premier protective player clothing designed by players for players. Their innovative cut-resistant clothing has prevented serious injury to numerous players, including over 30 NHL players. Cut Shield gives you the peace of mind to go out and play without worrying about injury. Use our promo code Grove City Hockey, all lowercase and no space, for an additional 25% off your order today.
Now carried it in back into goal.
That was a beautiful passing play right there, Sean.
What a save! Woo! Talk about a move.
Welcome to another exciting edition to Grove City Hockey Presents
Hockey in our neck of the woods, and you, sir, were a very talked about person towards the end.
I'm a fifth-year senior, it's my sixth year of college.
Welcome to GCH Podcast. I'm your host, Ben W. Stock. With me is a very special guest. I've got the Detroit Fuel General Manager, Nick Leon. Nick, how you doing?
Wonderful, sir. How you doing today?
Oh, living the dream. So, it was a pretty fun weekend this past weekend, huh?
Yeah, real exciting. A lot of energy, a lot of passion, a lot of effort from all the teams from coming around, all the states, and it was a real good tournament. Really well ran. The stadium really held it up, and all the teams honestly had a good showing.
Yeah, it was really impressive. A lot of the higher seeds lost quite a bit of games on Saturday, which kind of threw everybody in a little bit of a loop, especially in the T3 and T4 groupings. And then in the T2, you really saw again, like those lower quality, not necessarily lower quality teams, but the teams that haven't had the success that some of the other teams were having are now getting those successes because everything is pretty much even keeled. You have to qualify in order to play on the specific team that you're with. And I think it's you have to play 2 or 3 tournaments.
Yeah. So
at least 50%, right?
Correct. So you at least need 2 tournaments with that certain team. And I believe it used to be you have to do 1 away and at least 1 home, so technically the 2. A lot of people are doing more of the travel ones, your away tournaments, which naturally it's harder to travel with it. But like you said, there was a lot of upsets on Saturday, a lot of teams, and again, not so much a lower tier team, but or even skill, because they're in that league for a reason. One of those big ones that the D-Rev upset Fresh Coast on Saturday, and I think they won in overtime. That was a big win for them, and really put them in a good spot for Sunday as well.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure they won in a shootout, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. And Saturday,
and then they actually played the Cincy Kings to a 1-goal loss. So I mean, I said,
they came to play. They came with the show and ready to go.
Right, and the other thing that's really cool about this is so a lot of those tournaments that were played at the beginning of the year, some they might not have had their full roster. Everybody had their full roster this past weekend, so you really get a chance to really see how you stack up, and the parity in this league is so close because you had a number 1 team losing to a number 8 team or 8 seeded team halfway through the second or third period in a T2, which is the Fresh Coast was losing to the mighty Gloctopus. And they were playing with a short roster all season long, including they would borrow a couple Fresh Coast guys from time to time as well.
Yeah, and that's another team too. Gloctopus that was one of the sleepers. I know a few of the guys on the team. Goalie, Collins, good buddy, plays out of Fraser as well. in the top tiers over there, and just an all around fantastic guy. And so they really showed up again. The teams with us, like we always like going out, having fun, having a fun, Friday night, Saturday night during the season, and your last tournament, it's win or go home. And a lot of these teams really, like you said, brought the full roster, brought the energy, really brought their entire game like ready to go. We're ready to take it to the ship.
Cool. So let's talk about Nick Leon for a second. How did you get involved in hockey and in roller hockey?
So that's actually that's a fun story. I didn't actually play hockey until I got into college. I played like maybe 1 year, season 2 growing up, just like everybody, you're doing all the sports. But I did it as something to do with my buddies because I actually wrestled in high school and in college. I was a Scholar All-American at Olivet, where I went to college at, but it was just something for cardio to keep my weight down for wrestling, so my coach wouldn't yell at me. And and once I was done with that and I came home and like I'm working, I had such an itch for like a competitive nature and just something to do. So I just naturally went into it and kept running with it. So that's really how I kind of got into hockey. Buddies, Joe Boardman, he played up at State, and he was the same thing. I still play on leagues with him, and now we're playing the fun 30 over league, and so it's a little bit slower, a little bit more fun, a little bit more booze, so it's enjoyable. And then Fuel, another buddy of mine, Nick Smolinski. He asked me to play on a team with that's like Fuel hockey training. Detroit Fuel is like his brand, and I was playing with Detroit Revolution at one point a few years back, and I go, hey, I'm gonna break off and think about making my own team. And I asked him, I go, is that all right if I use the brand? And he goes, 100%. Run with it, grow, have a great time. And so we've really collaborated together to get it to where it's at. And it's not just a tournament team.
Okay.
We do play out of Fraser. We do have, I think it's really grown from like a 1 Sunday team to 2 to like honestly over maybe half a year to like we're up to like 8 or 9 teams there. And it doesn't just go from like your top tier platinum team. It's all the way down to your iron and tin guys, and girls too. And so we're all the way across the board with it. And it makes me happy because it's a good brand. I think I do the best I can to run it, the right way and put the right people in charge and be involved with it and part of the organization. So, yeah, I'm very happy. And so is Nick. And big congrats and shout out to him. He just had his first kid, Quinn.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
yeah. So real happy with him. He's busy with that. But yeah, I mean, in all, I'm very happy with, I'll say with the 2-3 years that we've been like running it, where we've started and grown and the future of it, the future of our organization, at least for MIHA, is trying to next year look at a tier 2 team. The first year was just our tier 3 team. This year we made a tier 4 team. So the next step is adding that tier 2 team in. And see what we can do, who we can get, and who we can really, again, grow our brand in a right way where it's not just people showing up to play hockey, but I fully believe in this is something where you have your friends and your family. I don't want to just play hockey. I want bring your wife, bring your girlfriend, bring your fiance, have a weekend of it. The big team dinners where everybody's getting along and it's a big collaboration together, and it's a big friends and family environment, where you do have that camaraderie that goes just above and beyond, just your hockey team.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one of the things that I always enjoyed was just the road trips, getting, the 6 or 7 guys in the van, and just joking around, being loose, the jokes and all of that stuff was just, and stopping at random places just to create a memory.
Yeah.
So
And everybody's, everybody's on a different, anytime you're traveling, everybody's on a different bathroom schedule where you go right away. And then 20 minutes later, well, I have to go now. And then you're an hour into it. You're making great time. You're making time up. And you're like, well, I got to stop. I'm starving now. And I'm, me, I'm the guy, I am driving through. We are making good time. We are getting there. And that never happens because I got another 4 people in the car. But it's, again, it's fun, It's and then everybody wants their different snacks, and then we are comparing snacks and everything. So it's a blast, absolute blast.
Right. So now your T3 team did not quite make the championships. You guys were just outside the bubble there, but your T4 team did a really good job this past weekend.
Yes.
They turned a couple of heads as well.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the T3 team, the last tournament, when we were in Buffalo, we had to win the whole thing to qualify. Unfortunately, we didn't. We fell a little bit short, like you said. So we got a few things to look at, a few maybe changes, and see, what we want to do and how maybe like reorganize the team, the positions where we're at. But like you said, the T4 team, I couldn't have asked for a better group of people, a better group of real hockey players and family members to play, and let alone what they did in their first year. Be able to qualify for the championships. Saturday they went 1-1. And then Sunday, unfortunately, we had somebody with a few health issues. A person in the second game on Saturday went to jump over the boards, misstepped, dislocated his shoulder. Another one had another issue. So we went into Sunday for championship only having 5 skaters. Had a full 8, and that
was tough. I was going to ask you what happened there, because I'm like, man, this is a home rink, and you guys only bringing out 5 skaters.
And it was rough. They left it all on the rink. They skated as much and as hard as they could, and honestly, it still was. I was very surprised how close it still was, and I thought for a second they're going to turn a corner and just keep riding that roller coaster and keep going up with it and really sneak one past them. But Dave Anderson, great guy with the Saints. They ended up pulling out the win. And there's, again, Dave's a great friend too. I've known him for a number of years as well.
Yeah, no, Dave and I were teammates for a couple of tournaments back in the day.
I'm sorry you had to play with him. I apologize.
Me too. We were much better playing against each other, 'cause we always had the fun battling it out. He's one of the bigger guys. I was on I'm one of the bigger guys as well, and I always just love mixing it up with him, Hubaliak, with the Windy City Syndicate.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that was willing to stand down there and try to move me in front of that net, because like you, I actually have a wrestling background.
Okay.
So they weren't able to move me around as much.
Yeah, they just don't get it. It's just different.
No, it really is. And I actually had a buddy of mine from high school actually go to Olivet College as well. Okay. Yeah.
Do you know?
I'm not sure what year you would have been. He would have been there, I think, in 90.
That would have been before
98, 99, somewhere right in there.
I was there from 2006 to 2010.
Yeah. So he was there because I graduated in 01. Okay. He would have been there. So like my sophomore year. So that would have been 98, 99.
Okay.
Somewhere. So I think somewhere right in there.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Nathan McDonald from Sturgis.
It sounds familiar.
He wrestled, I think, 130 or 135. Okay.
Yeah, he was one of the lower guys.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, weight. I wrestled 149.
Right.
But I was weighing 185, but cutting down. Real healthy. Good stuff for me. It was a great time.
Yeah. My first varsity wrestling match was against a 2-time state champion. I got poked in the eye.
Perfect way to start the entire career.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good. I ended up doing fairly well. I didn't do as well as you did, but I did have a winning record, so I'll take that.
Hey, anyway, scratch and claw at it. Yeah,
right.
I was decent in high school, and then like I went to college, and it was you're still wrestling, but it was like a different beast, and it
Yeah.
was really like out for blood. You were going, it was more aggressive, and I really like excelled. I made that next step that I needed to, and it really transitioned with how I was. And I was, I always put it, I'm like, if you're gonna beat me, you're gonna get beat up.
Yeah.
I wasn't nice to wrestle. I was aggressive and hard nosed with it, kind of just like hockey. Like I'm
Yep.
just a hard nosed, gritty guy, and it really transitioned with it. Um, but yeah, it was a real good career, with wrestling
Yeah,
so
so
far.
one of the things that I love about wrestling is you have that individual aspect of it, but it's also you're part of a team. And the same thing can be applied to any sport, but also more particular with hockey because you have to maintain your role, you have to know your role, and then you have to execute that role. And with wrestling, it's literally you get to you know your role, so you know what weight you're wrestling. You know what you have to do as far as what your game plan is going to be. You have to go out and execute it. So it's really a fun sport. I always thought it was a fun sport. It's one of my top three.
Yeah, it'll always be like my bread and butter and everything. But you're right. Like with wrestling, it's very individualistic because it's just you and one other person. It's not like your
Mhm.
entire team. But
Yep.
you winning that match or getting the certain points helps your team overall score. It's the same as
Yep.
hockey. And like knowing your role, I'll say in the last year, grown into like more of a stay-at-home D to started to becoming to like jumping that third guy up, being that
Mhm.
offensive defenseman. But then also like when I play with Nick on the Platinum Tuesday teams, if they need a sub, it's hey, we need you as lockdown D, stay at home D. We need you to eat pucks and be back there. Not a problem. I'll play the role. That's what you guys need. You need a short shift. You want to go get it. Not a problem. Because that's what the team needs, and that's how it should be. You shouldn't have a selfish player in hockey. Any team aspect of the hockey game, when somebody makes it an individualistic game, like look at the points that I'm getting, it'll ruin a team and it'll really hold the team back. And but buddies of mine too, I've preached to it. I'm like, I'm so happy you got 4 goals. You caused 12, but I'm so happy you got 4 goals.
Right.
I'm a big component of like, please, dear God, when I give you a full rink pass, bury the puck so I can get an assist because that's only my points. That's the only
Right.
way I get them. So I need those second assists, and then I always chirp the refs to help me out a little bit here sometimes. um, so
Cool. So now, do you guys have any plans for this summer? I know you guys got the Summer Bash tournament coming up as well. I think that's in what, June 18th?
yes, I believe it's like mid-June.
Yeah.
I've talked to a few people. I know it's Father's Day weekend, so it's kind of hard and everything like that. I have a few feelers out there to see what they're going to do. I was actually talking with a buddy tonight about a team that he's, I believe, putting in one, so I might jump on that and
Okay.
maybe make it fuel and see what we got going on this coming weekend. I personally am going out to the Legends tournament in Kalamazoo.
Nice.
And so that'll be a great time. That's always a fun tournament. Seeing guys from all over and people you've never seen. It's a fun style setup where it's a draft. If you don't know anything about it, there's a draft skate, so it's a full evaluation skate, and you
Hmm.
can pick the tiers that you want to be drafted into, and then basically there's your pro teams that you can get drafted on. If you don't go tier 1, you get knocked down to tier 2. People just pick you randomly. They're like, I need a defenseman. He's listed as a defenseman. I like this play style. Go, boom, pick it up. So you're playing with people you've never met before from different states, and so it's kind of cool. And then the other one, that the big one that's coming up, is State Wars,
Hmm.
and that one's, I believe, being held in Fort Wayne.
That I can't tell you off the top of my head. I'd
Okay.
have to look it up.
Yeah, I believe it's in Fort Wayne this year. Same
Oh,
thing.
that'd be cool.
I got a few feelers out to make a full fuel team from Michigan, and I don't know if we're gonna go double A or AB, but if we do, we should have a very good showing in that. Just really depends on what we got going on, yeses, nos, and what we can really lock down for a solid team.
Cool. Now that Kalamazoo, the Legends draft, where's that being played at? Is that going to be at the Wings Event Center?
Yes, it's at the Wings
Okay.
Event Center, and I believe I think they have 2 rinks there.
Yeah. Well, no. They have. It's a 3-rink facility.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if it, because I haven't seen much roller hockey in Kalamazoo since I left the area. I grew up down that way.
Okay.
I didn't even get a chance to talk to Franny about it.
Yeah.
But I know he's going to Italy at the end of this month. So I'm gonna be getting him on the pod again with him and the rest of Team USA.
Okay.
So that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'll be, and there's another big name, Franny. What a great guy too.
I love that guy.
Such a nice guy, friendly as can be. And so yeah, great person to know. But yeah, so they're playing it at the Wing Center. I believe they have the 2 rinks. How it's set up, and yeah, it again, like that, the whole draft style, like it's neat and it's a fun idea, and
that's really something you don't see. Yeah, that would be something to like. I would like to see something like that for a MIHA weekend. Just a random, yeah.
Yep.
Not
something fun.
Just for fun. Yeah, exactly. Just for fun. Doesn't necessarily have to be for points, but how cool would it be to get all of those T2 guys in that draft, mix it up with guys that they play with all the time, but then now they got to play against them.
Exactly.
Like that would be phenomenal to watch. Like you get the Fresh Coast boys, you get the Sixers, the Cincy Kings, the Buffalo New Era who just won the championship.
Just won it.
Yeah. You get all of those guys. You get the D-Rev guys. I mean, because every single one of those players can change the game in a heartbeat. All it takes is just a good break, and then of course the goaltenders they're so phenomenal at that.
Absolutely unreal. It's a whole nother caliber, and you gave him the shout out. I have to stop you and say yes, Jess Hackett. I should have picked New Era. I apologize. Congratulations on the win. So there's your shout out, buddy.
I had so much flack from the Cincy Kings because I didn't really mention them.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's another team that just like unreal skill level,
So, and they were so fast.
Yes.
Like I was just blown away by how fast, not that, just every team was, and the D-Rev, they were right there with them the whole game. And I had done an interview with CJ Groh from the Cincy Kings, and then I also did another interview with Todd Linus, the T2 scoring champion.
Big Liney.
Yeah. And Dad Bod Todd is what I call him.
Yeah.
And I mean, and those guys were giving me some grief. They're like, really, you're not going to pick us after we just had? And I'm like, it's still nothing but love, boys. I got to make my picks based on what I've seen. And they were having what is it? Takashi? Or what was the Buffalo New Era goalie?
Yasu.
Yeah. He just played phenomenal.
Yeah.
He
had a weekend.
And he had a rough start at the beginning of the season, and then just turned it up. Like I don't think they lost like the last 12 games that they played.
Yeah, they showed up and they really brought it. But yeah, that's another team that like I even look back. I'm like, anybody in that tier 2 could have just had a weekend and taken the whole thing to the house.
Absolutely.
And New Era with how they played, and I love Jake Robinson, aka Chucky as we call him, with Fresh Coast. New Era brought it to Fresh Coast, and they pumped them. They came to play hockey and have a great weekend.
Yeah, so. And I was like, and then the Kings just diamond the A team, and and my interview with Darby McKinnon, there was another one of the boys that you get to talking with them, and they're so cool, they're so laid back and they're happy-go-lucky guys, and it's what makes roller hockey's, I think, a little bit different than ice hockey. To a degree, because everybody's just like, okay, hey, they don't have that elitism, as I'd like to
Yeah,
call it.
correct. That
Everybody,
elitism mentality, like I can't talk to you, you're below me. No, like, and I'm
right?
good buddies with Darby too, and
Yeah,
what a great person, what a fantastic personality, because he's just there to have fun, play some great
yeah,
hockey, have a beer with the boys, and again, you're right, that roller community is really different. It doesn't matter if you are playing on a lower tier or a higher tier. Everybody's friends. Everybody's there to have a great time and just play hockey.
yeah. As long
And
as you
it
don't see
shows you.
anything too dirty, usually everybody has a really fantastic time.
Yeah, and it's my favorite part of any weekend is when you make more friends and you're just watching them playing hockey. You get to chirp them. I'm sure I'm all over any of the videos that you have of the hockey, just screaming in the background, making fun of Linus too, and they were just giving us looks and cracking up, and it's all for fun. It's all for having a great time out there. Like you said, everybody's there for the same reason: play hockey and just enjoy the weekend.
Cool. So you guys are coming back next season, I hope, right?
Yes, yeah,
And then,
100%.
yep. And then you guys got your T4 team, and then you got your T3, and then you guys are going to add a T2 team. Who are some of the possibilities on that T2 team that might be making that roster?
There's a few things I have in play. I don't want to give anything away just yet.
Way too early.
I know. It's like I was talking with people on Sunday. I was like, hey, I know you got bounced out, but hey, let's talk about next season. And I even look over in the middle of my conversation. I go, I can't do this right now. Let's just go have a drink. Like, yeah, we gotta celebrate. It's done. Relax a little bit. I got a few things in motion. I've talked to a few people. I'm trying to make something happen where they have 4, we have 4, we can combine it, and kind of do almost like a new rebranding ish, and have some fun. I'm also big fan of anytime I can get new jerseys for any reason. Why not? What's a new color we can add in?
I know,
And
right?
yeah, and everybody goes, "Oh no, we got to get new jerseys now." I was like, "We don't have to, but let me show you them." And then everybody's on board, and then we want them, and we already have way too many jerseys as it is. We have like 4
Well,
sets,
well,
and
I love
it's
I love the
nuts.
color combo that you guys are sporting too, man. Those
It's
purple unis are sick.
and those are like our throwback ones. We
Okay.
originally, before we did MIHA, it was the purple.
Yep.
And then when I first started the MIHA Fuel team, we did all whites. And
Hmm.
Smo even said, he goes, it's not going to look good. And then he shows up to the first game. He goes, oh my God, this is amazing. And
Yeah.
so blew him away. And then this year we added in like our blackout set. So it mixes more with like a real orange, and like the blackout looks good. My thing or idea for the next set would either be like an all orange and black, where like there's more predominant purple, look really good, or you go something completely different and you throw in a color like a magenta or like the Seattle Kraken blue, something just off the wall, change it up a little bit, get a new fresh look at it.
Yeah, that teal would look pretty sick.
I think it would really pop. I think
Yeah.
it would really stand out. And again, something different, be unique than some other teams. And people even threw around like why don't we do neon green? Everybody does like a black and neon green. Buffalo already has a neon green one.
Well,
So
and so
yeah,
does now. It looks like the smoke have a
yes,
green kind
yep,
of feel to it, along with the
correct,
Mid Michigan Saints. So it's almost like you got to try to find that color that nobody has, or that won't be coming, with it at the same time, because it's you can only have so many reds, you can only have so many greens, you can only have so many blues. Before it's
correct.
just like, come on, we got to have
Yeah,
something different.
everybody's got the same thing, or everybody's got the same design. So that's gonna be my like challenge to like our company that we use for jerseys and we run socks and shorts, to Charlie Lamb, who runs that company, to give me a whole different design, blow me away with something, and then we're gonna throw around some color ideas and see what we can really come up with, and really come at it a brand new way.
Yeah, I think a
Make it look
silver
good.
would look pretty. I think a silver would look really cool.
I that we were looking at like almost like a silver and like a metallic blue as well, to mix it in and change it up. I think it's going to be more the colors might come after once we see the design and
Right.
how they'll really work together,
Mhm.
So
Cool.
that's the future of what we're looking at.
That's awesome. So now, what outside of that, what can we expect from the fuel in the future?
I really want to keep growing it to where we do have. I got to talk to Carl because I've been contacted so much, and I was very personally proud with people that wanted to play for us. Heard so many good things about it. I really try to take care of the guys. I try to take if I do make money on like our jersey, socks, and shorts for running the brand and stuff like that. That's where we make our money. I try to put that back into our brand. This personal weekend we got, because it was home, it was great. I got them their own locker room. It was away from everybody, fill it with snacks, and you got them tape and the scissors and everything that they might need for the weekend. I would love to make it a known brand in Michigan, that possibly we go to a tours tournament and we have a showing. We have our known people that run in the Legends tournament, that are those high caliber people, and I'd love to have that state worst tournament where that people know that they can count on fuel being there and having a great showing too. Anything really to keep us growing, and get more people involved in the sport to keep the sport growing as well. And one of the big people too is with our lower teams at Fraser is Stephanie Taylor has done such a fantastic job taking over our iron and 10. The T4 team, Tim Hall, he runs like our aluminum, copper team division. Myself, I run like our bronze silver team, and then Smolinski kind of runs the platinum. And then the most of us, all four of us kind of collaborate of what we kind of want to do, what we got organizing, and going from there with it. But she has done personally such a fantastic job of getting those, I'll say, lower caliber, as a nice way to put it, involved and loving the sport and wanting to show up and bringing more people. There's almost like they could almost form like a third team in like iron and 10 because there's so many people, and
Oh, that's awesome.
which is fantastic. I love it because it shows the brand is, people are gravitating towards it, and it just makes me happy again that I've seen people, hey Nick, thanks so much for letting me play for Fuel. I've never met you in my life, but I'm so happy that you love playing for us. Keep it up, and I try to show my face around the rink as much as I can, and say hi, get the branding going, to really put a face with the brand. And if you can't find me at the rink, I'll usually be up at the bar having a great time.
Right. So now, here's an interesting question. We just have a few minutes left.
Mhm.
What changes would you like to see happen in MIHA?
So that's a big thing that I love. I love change, and the big thing that I'm looking at, and I want to try to see what Carl thinks about it, is anytime you have a sport, I'm very competitive and I want to keep moving up skill wise with competition wise. I'm in tier 3 now. My goal is to be on a tier 2 team, whether it's Fuel or Fuel still my brand, but another team picks me up. I'm okay with that. I can balance that. It's totally fine. My big change I want to see is I think we can grow the tier 2 division if we have the ability for a tier 2 team on a random weekend. Hey, we had a guy drop out randomly. I'm going to pick up one of my tier 3 guys, bring him up for a weekend, try him out, give him a run at the higher division, see if it works. See, maybe he's got to work on stuff. Maybe it's a perfect fit. And now I'm set for this season or next season. And so it gives people that lower tier a chance to play a higher division, play a higher skill level, see where they're at, see what they need to improve on. And then also throw random people on different other teams to meet new people, make new friendships. And that's how I met Darby. It was a 3-on-3 tournament at Fraser. A buddy of mine, Kyle Schultz, he needed a guy. I go, sure, I'll play. Not a problem. He goes, I got buddies from Canada coming over, and you're going to love Darby. You guys are going to get along great. And yeah, we hit it off. We were boys from day one in the locker room. And so it was fantastic. So having that ability, I think, could grow the skill level and the competition as well, to hopefully bring back, like we had like two or three seasons ago, that tier 1 division. If you can make that split and keep growing more people, I think we can get that back. So that's the big, I think, easy and possible change that we can make. I don't think teams should be like, hey, I'm a T4 team, I'm going to bring a T3 guy down. Doesn't make sense. You shouldn't want to go down in competition. It should only be wanting to play up in caliber.
Well, but now let's say like you're at the tail end of your career, and you're like, T3 is just not where I should be. I go, 1-11. Then I feel like there should be a relegation system, if you can get the teams to commit for multiple years.
Yes. And so, and like you're saying, if you're going, 1-8, 1-11 in a season, you're like, we just don't have the caliber to keep up with T3. From last year, from our last year to this year, we had 2 people that I know of, one from Fuel and one from D-Rev, drop down to T4. And it was simply going, I know where I'm at. I know where I belong, and I can't skate that hard. I don't have the skill level. I love you guys to death. I know we're family and friends. I can't compete in T3, So then you have to look at it, I would say, more of a case-by-case basis if you're dropping down. Of course, the easiest way is just to go analytical with it and go, cool, here's your points per game. I should allow this, and these people qualify for it. I think you should take it a step further and kind of almost have like a committee of 5. You could look at gameplay, you could look at past history, and then also take the numbers into it, to see, if they're allowed to. Because it really depends on the person if they make that team stand out because they drop down. Are they that game-changing player, or is it, I'm just a good defenseman, I don't bring in points, I'm just eating pucks to my ankles all game long?
Yeah, you have teams like the Chicago Triple P who just dominated that T4 division this year. Though they can move up. You have a couple of teams in the T3 division that can get bumped down.
Correct.
It'd be kind of cool to see something like that. But I think the only way that really works is if you have teams that are committed for a couple of years.
You can have teams committed for a couple of years. I think the most part, these teams, Carl's done a very good job of opening up to so many different levels of people. And you have those lower skill level people where it's not just everybody is those Cincy Kings, Detroit Smoke, Fresh Coast, New Air. Like those teams are almost the bottom tier of like your tours or your state wars and stuff like that, where this is a tournament travel league that almost anybody can play in. And I believe one of the big things he might be adding in that we've heard is there might be a tier 5 for next season.
That's the rumor and innuendo, is that there's a possibly that they're going to be dropping some teams down because the parity in T3 to T4 and even just in T3 in general, the bottom half of the team, because you have 20 some teams in each of those divisions. It's almost like 24, 25 teams in each, and then you have I think even almost 30 in the T4. So give or take,
it's a huge group of teams.
So I mean, it's tough to I mean, it's great to see, because when I was playing, you didn't have that. You were always playing the same. You're not necessarily playing the same teams, but you would have that season rivalry where, okay, hey, in Grand Rapids we got a chance to play the Syndicate, and then now we're playing them in Chicago. and then now we're going to play them again in Detroit. So you kind of had like that 3-game series throughout the regular season to kind of get that some rivalries built up, and that's what I enjoyed about it. And so, now sometimes you get to the championships and you have teams that have never even played each other.
Yeah, never seen each
And-
other, never played each other. There was a lot of teams this year that they got out there for tournaments that they had to play within right away.
Yeah,
where,
within the first four tournaments, they were done.
Yeah, and which to me doesn't make sense. To me, you would think like, sure, you can have an early one, you have maybe 2 mid ones, and then again, my sports psychology, I'm like, if you're ramping up, I want to have a tournament near the end of the season. So I'm like, hey, we're firing on all cylinders. We had a great tournament. We're going into championships, and you have that attitude and mindset to really just keep the ball rolling with it. So. Again, people going to run their teams and sign up for stuff, and I know picking the tournaments is always a little difficult when you're a new team, what you're bidding in for and stuff like that. Sometimes you get the ones you want, sometimes you don't. But again, Carl does a great job of giving you at least one, if not 2 of those, depending on seniority. And like you're saying, playing in Chicago, playing the Chicago boys at their home rink, and then they get to play you at your home rink. Right. It does build that rivalry and that fun, and gives you different perspectives.
That's what I enjoyed about it when I was playing. It was just something for me to not only get out there and test my skills at a different rink, but you're playing a different skill level. And then you're playing against individuals that want to play hard. That doesn't think that it's game 7 every time you step on the floor.
Correct.
That they know that, hey, we have to play tomorrow. We have to another game later tonight. So we're not going to just go out there and start breaking sticks and busting wheel hubs and all that stuff just to prove a point.
Yeah, that you're the best on this single day, And right. We always say the thing when we're at Fraser and stuff starts getting hard. I always grab somebody and go, hey, just so we're aware, I got a job to go to tomorrow,
right.
And everybody starts laughing and we're like, yeah, we get it. I'm like, all right, good. So I'm going to go over here. Please don't hit me anymore. So it's always a friendly, little banter back and forth. But yeah, I would love to see teams that are on like that top tier, make that move or want to make that move. And it's harder, I think, maybe on a team personally go, yeah, we're not that good, we should drop down. Right. I will say though, it's very unique. What I've noticed over since I've been involved in MIHA, tier 3 is very unique. Tier 3 going into tier 2, it's kind of close. Like your top teams of T3 to the bottom teams or mid teams of T2 are pretty close, and it would be good games. Top tier of tier 2, I do think is a different level. But again, any given day, anybody can win. I think. Go ahead.
Yeah, and it only takes 1 or 2, an addition, to change the entire complexity of those T3 teams in the upper division. Whereas, so like you get a guy that has some speed with a team that has good puck possession, it changes the whole dynamic, and that right there becomes a T2 team.
Yeah, and it's the, like you're saying, it's the whole dynamics, the whole play style changes up, and it makes you bring you that other level.
Absolutely.
But then I do think there's a big disparity of skill level, I'll say, from T4 to T3.
Yep.
And I didn't watch enough of the PPP team to really see their skill level. I just literally saw their record. I'm like, these guys can skate. So it's kind of hard because T3 is that unique style, and skill level where it's almost like you're right in between.
Yeah, no. So I actually had a chance to watch the Triple P this year or this weekend. And they are super fast. They were a lot faster than a couple of the lower division in T3. And they moved the puck really well. They maintained possession, and I really think if they didn't have Mark Orr as their goaltender, it would be a completely different team.
Okay. And that's what you're saying. 1 or 2 people completely can change that team,
Yep.
So
yeah.
It's one of those things. I think they should make a move and try out T3 and go into it and try to increase themselves and see where they can run with it.
Yeah, it's almost like the first couple of tournaments in MIHA should be like a trial basis for those teams that are on the bubble.
Yeah.
To go, hey, let's try it in this division. If we get shelled with our team that we normally play with, then we'll stick in T4.
The lower one. Yeah.
Right. Or hey, we actually did really well, so let's just give it a shot and see what happens. You really get 15, 20, anywhere from 15 to 20 games that whole season. What's 4 games on 1 weekend.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Like you're saying, like have that trial run, have that trial tournament, to see where you're at skill wise, because you can always be at your home rink and being like, man, we are the best in our division. And then again, you go over to Buffalo and you're like, we just got our clocks cleaned. We just got embarrassed. I don't want my mom to watch the videos of me out there. I think my skates are on the wrong feet and I use somebody else's stick. So yeah, I've been on both sides of it,
Yeah, it was like it was no different than from when I went from like my local rink, playing with the guys, and then okay, hey, I want to really test my metal. So then you go up to Kalamazoo, and you're just like, okay, now you got to start all over again. You got to work your way up, and then okay, you get done there, you end up doing fairly decent, and then you're like, okay, I need a different challenge. So then you go to the other side of the state. So I went to Mount Morris and played over there for a year or two. And then I think that was after I got back from Illinois. So I even played down there for a little bit.
Okay.
So it was enough to just go, okay, hey, let's just try this out and see where we're at, and then just kind of keep building it up from there.
Yeah, and there's another great rink too, Mount Morris with Jacob Hill. He does a great job out there too. Again, super nice guy, friendly as can be. I love his Ironman 3-on-3 tournaments where it's basically, get some booze, play some hockey, and have a great freaking time out there.
Yeah, no, Josh and I are we're buddies from way back in the day too.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually reached out to him not too long ago, and I was like, hey man, give me some time so I can get you on this pod. So we're going to talk about that, and it's going to be a pretty good experience, because I haven't had a chance to talk to him since 2015.
Oh man, so, yeah. So he'll have a lot to talk about then. But no, he'll be a good guy to have on here, and really talk hockey and see what he's got going on. Which Top Shelf, that's his thing. They had a team in T3, know a bunch of them, and that was a great time playing against them. I think we played them in the second tournament at Taylor this year that Fuel went to, and it was the whole time playing great hockey, and then we're just talking crap to each other on the bench, making jokes, laughing, going around. So great group of guys, real good group of guys.
All right, well, any final words you got for us, Nick?
I couldn't be happier with how my team of T4 Fuel did this year. Same with even T3, not the outcome we wanted. Real excited for the future of Fuel, with hopefully adding a team to our brand, and also exciting future for MIHA. See what comes next year, next season, and what we got going on. And best of luck. I really appreciate you having me on the podcast and everything. I hope everything works out for you guys, and can't wait to see you guys next year as well.
Yeah, well, we appreciate it. I definitely will be doing weekly podcasts from here on out. So hopefully we can keep the ball rolling and get some good content for you guys to watch.
Awesome. Hey, I appreciate the invite again.
All right, bud. Well, we'll talk to you soon. Nick, appreciate it. I'm Ben W. Stock. We'll see you next time.